Hello and welcome to Resin Crafting with Chris Collected. Today I am continuing to use my art resin and I wanted to make a bunch of little projects with it. And so we're going to go ahead and fill that up to the 12 ounce mark. We're going to be using 6 ounces of the epoxy resin and 6 ounces of hardener in a 1-to-1 ratio. Make sure to check out the unboxing live video so you can see where I got all of these resin molds from. This one's a cute little turtle. Turtle. This is a monstera leaf. These are our glass beads in various sizes. Today we're going to be using thermochromatic powder in 3 different colors, 2 different purple versions, and 1 green one. Thermochromatic means that as it's heated, it changes color, so it will start as a cyan green and turn to yellow. This is some glitter that I'll be using, as well as clay pieces and sakura flowers. I just got the Let's Resin electric mixer, and so this will be the first video that I use it in. Now it is time to pour. I'm starting to try to use more graphics and transitions. Feel free to put in the comments if you like them or if you want different colors or different things. This is the house of improvements, not the house of perfect. We're always looking to improve. Now that we have filled it up halfway with the epoxy, now we're going to put the hardener in for another 6 ounces. For a total of 12 ounces. Alright, let's see how good this mixer is. I am not quite sure of the technique yet. I'm not sure if I should leave it down in there the whole time, or should I be mixing it around? If you have any suggestions, feel free to put that in the comments. But I will be doing more research myself as well to make sure that I'm doing the proper technique. Ultimately, this did hurt my hands less to be able to use. However, I don't feel that it made any less bubbles. Maybe it's because I was bringing it up and down too much and putting air into it, and should I have just left it on the bottom? I'm not really quite sure. It was fun to use, and relatively easy to clean as it is all plastic. So I just used a baby wipe and was able to clean it up pretty well. And that piece does come out, so it's way easier to clean. Now we're going to pour the epoxy resin into multiple different containers so that we can put different colors into it. However, I did say in the previous video that I was going to start putting the mica powder on the bottom. I forgot that for the first one and then remembered on the second. However, I did make a further error here, that I was planning on keeping the third larger pot clear for now just in case I needed more of the purple. Unfortunately, I did not do that and ended up adding more green in and had to make more resin later. I do feel this will be a good demo though of the difference between putting mica powder on the bottom and putting it on the top. Yeah, see, at the time when I was planning this video, I was like, oh, I should just leave this clear. And then unfortunately, you know, sometimes you're in the heat of the moment and you're just like, oh yeah, that's going to be green eventually. Let's make it green, you know? Now let's go ahead and mix it up. This is the one that was on the bottom, and you can see on the top lid that there is essentially no purple up there at all. And I feel that it mixed pretty well. Whereas you can see here, it often spreads now on the top, and that whole lip up there has purple powder on it. And so then I have to scrape the top to be able to get it. So clearly putting it on the bottom is the superior method. Also look at the stick. Because your stick touches and it is porous, it immediately starts to collect that powder. And so you see the stick is a lot dirtier on this one. And this is the same company, same powder, just different colors, so it shouldn't act any differently. Now this one, luckily, because it's so deep down there, it probably still is okay, but you can see the sides are covered in green, instead of it all just being in the resin. So in the future, I will definitely try to focus on getting it in the bottom. We're always out here to improve. Now it's time for the fun part. Yes, as you can see, it was not enough to fill up the entire mold. So we're going to go ahead and speed it up as I try to get out any little last bits I can before ultimately pouring some more resin into these 2 cups and making some more of each color. Whoa, that was fun. Now let's see that from another angle. I now shoot each video with 3 different camera angles, and this is the side view. I love it because you can really see the resin in these. It's amazing that this liquid turns into a hard, plastic-like solid. So remember, safety is always very important with dealing with this kind of chemical-based product. But it sure does look cool. See, I at least got it to cover all of the mold. And it looked fun while I was doing it. Now let's get back to our regular views. Please consider subscribing. It makes it so I'm allowed to make better content. The more subscribers, the more it encourages me to make the best content I can. Okay, now as I've mentioned, we need more resin. And unfortunately, I had more resin already made up, but as we've seen, I've made it green. Whoops. Of course, the green is for that Monstera leaf and for the turtle. I wanted to make it semi Ninja Turtles themed there and just kind of do a green turtle. But I meant to do that afterwards because I know I always make up too much resin. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll have the green leaf layer for anything left over. But I forgot that, I might need more. Whoops. It's all right, though. We're always out here to improve. And so this was done just kind of really quickly. both colors so that we could just do another of those pours. Again, this is a 1-to-1 resin, so I'm putting in the epoxy resin, putting in the hardener, and then mixing them. And in this case, also putting the powder in right away. I've been told that's not great to do if you're doing large quantities, but however, small quantities, you can kind of get away with it. And I am trying to get rid of bubbles in the pot or in the mold, anywhere as I can. Just try to pop as many of them as I can to have the best clarity possible. Okay, now let's go ahead and pour this extra resin in. This mold is from Let's Resin. I would suggest if you do buy anything from Let's Resin, make sure to check their Amazon store. This mold is $19.99 on their website. However, it is $9.99. That is right, $10 cheaper on their Amazon store. I don't know why. Usually people make their Amazon store more expensive because Amazon takes a cut. I guess they must be making so many sales from it that it's cheaper price. So I highly recommend if you're buying anything from Let's Resin, check their Amazon store. Now we've already mixed up this green. It is again thermochromatic, meaning that it will change colors when it is heated or cooled. I love having this with resin. The idea being that you could sell a customer a product and it would literally change color on them. So they could have it in a hot outdoor environment and it's going to be one color, or an indoor environment and it will be a different. Now I wasn't sure about if this turtle would be able to be made, being as I thought it would be better with deep pour resin. However, it actually turned out wonderful. This resin says it's up to about 2 inches. And so I think I maxed it out with that turtle, but I think it's also internally so small that it very much worked. Now we gotta go ahead and finish up with the resin that I have, and we all done for the day. Unfortunately, the main problem with this mold is it only gives you 2 X's and 2 O's. That's not even enough for one person to win the game. I really wish they had a side piece of even more, or if they just sold a sheet of X's and O's, I would have bought it immediately. So I did end up buying 2 more molds off their Amazon store. Especially because that purple X, I end up breaking that mold completely. The mold actually fused to it. I must have overheated it, and the resin and silicone merged into one. And so when I took that X out, there is actually a piece of the mold still. I think it might still be a little bit usable. I'm not sure. I think I might just throw some super glue or something on it and try to cover that patch up. But I did buy 2 more. These are glass beads. They are meant to look like bubbles of air when they are inside of a resin mold like this. And so I'm just throwing them all over the place. Make sure to check out my live streams every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Arizona time, and you can play tic-tac-toe with me live while I work and make more art. These are clay pieces, and I just ordered a lot more of different kind of clay pieces, and so make sure to stay tuned, and in about a month or so from now, I'll have a bunch more. I couldn't just do that kind of flower, I also wanted to do the sakura flower. I really wanted this heavily pigmented, but also to have a large amount of these pieces in it. And of course, I couldn't make anything without glitter. Everything I have has a little bit of glitter in it. This is not the best way of doing it. However, I am going to mix the entire thing afterwards. And I would say if you plan on not mixing it, then I would put the glitter in beforehand. However, I knew that I wanted to mix these two colors together and put all these clay pieces and findings in together and mix them all so that it would fit into those grooves, but at the same time, some of it hopefully be on the back as well. It turned out perfect. It literally, you know, one of those things, sometimes you make a piece and it's like, wow, I nailed that one. So I love it, but I still be making a bunch more. That way, during my live streams, you will be able to pick the board that you want to play me on. Maybe you have a preference in color or a preference in shininess, you know? You can find your own lucky board. Also, next Saturday, I will have an event called Epic Toy Con in Phoenix, Arizona. Make sure to look up that event. It's called Epic Toy Con. And it is only $5 entry, over 90 vendors. And it all has pop culture and toys and even people like me that are making rugs and resin and fabric creations. All with a pop culture theme. Oh no, this new mold is way shallower than previous tic-tac-toe molds that I had, and I did not realize that, and ended up way overpouring it. In fact, I overpoured it so much, I could actually pick it up and pour it into another mold. This mold did come with that other tic-tac-toe mold. I cannot find where to buy it individually. Originally, these were going to be more purple than green. As I said, I ended up mixing my colors a little too soon and had way too much green. So now everything else in the video is going to be green. Next up, these are keycaps. I got this in another unboxing life video, so make sure to check that out. But ultimately, this was a test just to see how easy it's going to be to put those back pieces on. And it turned out badly. Yeah, these ones were probably the only pieces from this that I don't like. And the reason for that is the back of it needs a little peg to be put onto it, so that way it can snap onto a keyboard. However, those pegs have to be centered. Somehow, my thing shifted off to the left side, and so all of them are unusable because they would be too close to the other keys. That's the thing about keyboards, they are very tight and very precise. So that one's going to take a bit of practice. So I'm going to do a future video of only keycaps, and that way I'll have plenty of practice. This one, again, is so shallow that as soon as I poured into it, I was already overpouring it. I just think that's a bad mold design, and I probably will never use this tiny tic-tac-toe one again. Originally, the plan was to be able to have it as a prize. So you beat me in 3 games and I'd give you a free tic-tac-toe board. Or 3 to 5, you know, depending on the convention and, you know, how big it is or small it is. But ultimately, I think I'm not going to do that just because it is not a good mold. Final mold of the day. Just a little bit more green and then we're all done. So this is a seashell mold. But this one does not get completely full, so we will not be demolding it this video. We will be demolding it next video when I completely fill it up. And you see a nice layered effect on that one then. In fact, I might even do 3 or 4 layers to it. We'll see. So stay tuned to future videos and you can see what the future of that little mold is. As we wrap up here today, hello, my name is chriscollected. I am a queer, subversive artist specializing in digital and physical media. That means I make things that you can buy, and I make things that you can watch. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, all those amazing things that you can do to help support an individual independent artist. Thank you so much. And man, didn't this turn out great? But you can really tell that I do rugs as well, because there's little bits of fabric in all of it. Look at that one. There's just little bits all in the back of that mold, and so it just stuck into the resin. And as you can see, that little white piece is what fused into the X. Really good cross section there of the X. But yeah, you can see even the little turtle has little fuzzies in it. But man, you turned out so cute. All right, you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful week, wonderful life. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.